very fun night of fights with UFC 316 last night. I don't think there were any huge surprises. However, let's go in sort of reverse order from the undercard towards the main event. The media is referring to Mario Bautista's defeat of newcomer Patchy Patrick Mix. They're labeling that an upset, but I don't know that that's really fair to Bautista because this was Patchy Mix's debut with the UFC. He was coming over from, I think, Bellator. And the thing is, just as there's different, these different leagues in MMA, I think it's pretty well recognized that the UFC is the cream of the crop in terms of MMA fighting. So it's simply, Bautista welcomed Patchy Mix to the UFC and showed him that the level of fighting and the pressure and the pace might be a step up from what Mix was used to with Bellator. In the co-main event, I don't think it was a huge surprise that Kayla Harrison defeated Julianna Pena. I was sort of rooting for Julianna, although as a couple of our viewers discussed, we're not really fans of either fighter. Nevertheless, I was rooting for the champ to defend her title. But when the two women stepped in the cage, the size difference was really apparent. I believe that Kayla has a very difficult time cutting to 135. I mean, you can see just how much bigger her frame is. And remember, Kayla won her Olympic gold medals fighting at above 175 pounds. She won those at 178, and we'll assume that she did a little bit of a cut to get to that weight division. So for her to now fight at like 40 pounds lower than what she was a world champion at, that's quite something. So no huge surprise, Kayla was able to take Julianna down a couple times, and then the second time she was able to secure, I guess you call it a Kimura from top position. I think a lot of us are used to seeing fighters use a Kimura from bottom position. The main camera angle kind of hid that submission from us. But if you look at the other camera angle from outside the cage, you could get a little glimpse of how that Kimura sunk in. But a decisive, clean win for Kayla, so congratulations to her on that victory. Of course, Kayla did call out GOAT Amanda Nunes, who came into the cage. They kind of alluded to, hey, we're going to fight one day. Of course, we don't know when that is. Dana White said that Amanda's not even in the testing pool. So it's my understanding that fighters must be in the USADA pool for at least 6 months before they're permitted to fight. So we'll see how that plays out. I think it's a little bit too early to start doing a breakdown of Amanda Nunes versus Kayla Harrison. Now, in the main event, I was rooting for Merab. I did believe he would win. You can check my pre-fight breakdown. But I was surprised in the manner in which Merab won. I didn't think he was going to submit Sean, but props to him for showing us a new wrinkle in his game. He did get that, I don't know if you want to call it a darce or a neck crank. It looked like a little bit of a combination of both, but I think that's wonderful because now Sean cannot go into denial and say, hey, I didn't really lose that fight. No, buddy, you tapped. You lost. We know you lost. Let's not pull the whole Cheeto Vera won thing where you say, oh, I'm still undefeated and all this other garbage. It's nice that you used to be undefeated in your rematches. In any case, I think this, shows Sean where he's lacking in his overall game, and I don't know he will be able to rise to the top again. I don't think he ever beats Merab, but if there's a changing of the guard, maybe Sean will have a chance at a different new champion. But I don't think he will ever beat Merab. So huge props to Merab and his team, because I did expect him to wear Sean down. I did not expect him to get a sub. So that shows us he's been working on his grappling game. All right, what were your favorite moments in the UFC 316 last night? Let us know in the comments. Thanks.